Good morning. My name is Karen Seymour Ells, and I serve on the board of this church. I am the clerk of the board, which means I take minutes and I make sure they are published so the rest of you can find out what is going on in the board meetings without having to visit us on a Tuesday night if you would prefer not to do so. We want to welcome everyone to our open and inclusive community this morning. As Unitarian Universalists, we hold that there are many spiritual paths to truth and meaning, and we support one another as we explore these paths. First time and returning visitors, it is our custom to invite you to stand and give your name and where you are from if you are comfortable doing so. Are there any visitors this morning who would like to introduce themselves? Everyone looks really familiar out there, so that may be. I want to welcome anyone who's visiting today, and please join us after the service for coffee hour. We would love to have a chance to get to know you better. I will be there along with many of our members. In addition, our minister, the Reverend Mike Walker, and our Director of Religious Education, Steve Cooper, are present and would be happy to meet you. I didn't check to see if it says raising concerns today. And if you have noticed, visitors, that coffee in Creeves Hall can be crowded and possibly a little intimidating, you can grab your coffee cup and come down to the lower annex to meet other visitors and a couple of folks from our Congregational Life Committee. It is right down the stairs below the sanctuary. They can answer any questions you may have or just get to know people better, and they look forward to seeing you there. Our service can be heard outside the glass doors at the back of the sanctuary should anyone feel the need to step out of the service. And as we begin our service this morning, please silence all electronic devices. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning. Welcome, one and all. This is a season of joy and celebration, and for some it is also a season of sadness. Many come here seeking a chosen family, having few connections elsewhere now. I ask that you consider who here may be alone in this season over these holidays, and maybe there's something that you can do about that. As we contemplate that, I'd like to welcome up our chalice lighters, Ryan and Julia. Come on up.
We light our chalice this morning for the spiritual teachings of earth-centered traditions which celebrate the sacred circle of life and instruct us to live in harmony with the rhythms of nature.
Thank you. I invite you to rise in body or in spirit and join in singing We Laugh, We Cry. It's number 354 in the Gray Hymnal.
Standing. Sorry. Love is the spirit of the church, and service is law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
It is time to gather. This is an opportunity to share a story or a lesson that ties in with both the religious education classes and today's service. Today, I have a poem about the highest level of awe. It is called On the Night You Were Born by Nancy Tillman. As I read this, imagine that this poem was said about you when you were born. On the night you were born, the moon smiled with such wonder that the stars peeked in to see you, and the night wind whispered, "Life will never be the same, because there will never be anyone like you ever in this world." So enchanted with you were the wind and the rain that they whispered the sound of your wonderful name. The sound of your name is a magical one. Let's say it out loud before we go on. It sailed through the farmland high on the breeze, over the ocean, and through the trees, until everyone heard it, and everyone knew of the one and only ever you. Not once had there been such eyes, such a nose, such silly, wiggly, wonderful toes. In fact, I think I'll count to 3 so that you can wiggle your toes for me.